going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, UnclefOOlio, and I'm back with another episode of the Kontroversy, ladies and gentlemen. As always, these episodes are sponsored by nothing but Knicks. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Also, hit that notification bell to be notified anytime we go live, whether it be pregame coverage, postgame coverage, controversy videos, Queen's Court episodes, shoot-around videos, you name it, we got it. We're closing out 2021 with a bang, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year to everyone out there watching the show, to the NBK family and Knick fans everywhere. Happy New Year. Hopefully 2022 brings health and happiness to you and your families. And I must say that it's been a great year for the Knicks. Obviously, you know, we finished off last year making the playoffs, getting the 4th seed. Playoffs didn't go quite the way we wanted it, but it was a start of something. 2021 was the start of something, and we're hoping to continue to build on our success moving into 2022. Today, I am joined by a special guest, State from the State of the New York Knicks podcast. Make sure you follow his podcast. I have the link in the description of this video to his Apple Music and Spotify link, so you can definitely check him out. And he's the co-host of the State of the Die Hard State of Mind podcast that you can also find on the DieHardKnicks Channel, which I also have a link to in this video. So definitely check that out. I am joined by the one and only State. State, what is going on, my friend? How you doing?
What's up, bro? What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up?
What's going on? Happy New Year, man. Happy New Year. I know we've been going back and forth about this Julius Randle topic for a long time. So, you know, I'm glad to finally have you on, bro. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And I know we about to get it in, because I know me and you definitely disagree on a bunch of everything, you know what I'm saying? But specifically this Julius Randle topic, you and the almighty 4th seed and all of that. So we're going to break it down. But otherwise, how you doing, bro? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm a little sleepy, but I'm all right. I'm here, and, you know, let's talk some Knicks. Let's get right into it, man.
Let's get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, you see he making excuses already. You know what I'm saying? He's a little tired and all of that, you know what I'm saying? But that's not going to save him from this smoke, right? So, yeah, we're going to get right into it. Obviously, we're talking about Julius Randle. The Knicks, said yesterday through their PR that Julius Randle's out through the health and safety protocol, so we're going to cover that. But before the health and safety protocol, Julius Randle is not having the same season he had last season, right? So the Knicks obviously aren't playing their best basketball right now. Julius Randle's not playing his best basketball, and it's an obvious regression from last season, from his all-NBA season last year. So I have to ask the question, why has Julius Randle regressed this season? Like, what happened between last year and this year? Do you think there's anything that's going on with him? Do you think what are the reasons that you attribute him having a regression this year? Do you think last year was a fluke? I'm gonna have you start it off, and you tell me how you feel about Julius Randle this year.
So in 455 minutes without Randle on the floor, the Knicks are outscoring teams by 15.9 points per 100 possessions, which of course is an all-time record. Now, when I hear things like he's nicked up, when I hear things like he's had a newborn child, it's just pure garbage. And you know it's garbage, Josh. But at the same time, it's like, what excuses can I make for Randle this season? I mean, what excuses do you want me to have for him? He just got paid $100+ million. He's supposed to be the best player on the team, and he's supposed to be the leader on the team. Now, Josh, body language doesn't come up in the box scores, man. Doesn't come up in the box stat sheet. I know you're watching his body language. It's horrible, bro. And some more numbers for you. Immanuel Quickley ranks 24th out of 551 NBA players with an individual plus minus of plus 155. Julius Randle, on the other hand, ranks 524th with a minus 127 on and off court differential. And the eye test matched the numbers as well. Honestly, I don't have no excuses. I don't know why he's regressed, bro. Do you want to blame Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier? I can't really blame those two, because another stat that I seen that was very alarming, my brother, was when Julius Randle's off the floor, everybody else on my list has a plus minus. Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker has a net negative still. So, bro, You want to talk to Tibbs? I don't know, bro. I don't know. He looks flustered. He looks tired. He looks mentally gone. He looks worn out. He looks disinterested. When you have Wally saying that you don't engage on screens and Taj Gibson engages on screens more than you, when Taj Gibson is 36 in NBA in human years, but it's actually 45 in NBA dog years, and he's going back and he's blocking shots, that's alarming, Josh. So your man got to wake up, because we're going to have a 4-game sample size at least with him not playing. And it's going to go either two ways. So how about you tell the people, what do you think is the problem and why he's regressed? Because I don't know.
Okay, I mean, no. I mean, listen, you threw some numbers out there, some plus minus numbers, which are very, very flawed stats. You know what I'm saying? But let's talk about the numbers that you put out there, right? Okay. First of all, you said in 455 minutes, teams are outscoring the Knicks by whatever.
No, the Knicks are outscoring opponents in 455 minutes by 16 points. That is very true.
It's true. It's numbers. It's numbers. Yeah, I can't argue with the numbers, but I'm going to tell you why that stat is so flawed, because Julius Randle, when he's out the game, the bench is in the game, correct? The Knicks have one of the highest scoring benches in the NBA. One of the highest scoring benches in the NBA. So it's very, very I'm very curious as to why you use that stat, saying that Julius Randle, that explains his regression more than anything. Now, I mean, there's so many other stats you could have used, but you pick that one. You know what I'm saying? Like the Knicks, they score. Their bench score. They have a really high scoring bench, but Julius Randle doesn't come out the game and then everything all of a sudden gets better. RJ Barrett comes out the game. Kemba Walker comes out the game. The entire starting unit comes out the game. The starting unit as a whole is not doing that well, right? So it's not just on Julius Randle with those numbers that you put out. And then you have, you talk about these plus minus numbers again. Plus minus, even though for individuals, it says it's an individual stat, it's really based on how the team collectively performs and how they produce over time. Right. So I find it very interesting how you use that stat to say that's the reason why Julius Randle has regressed. I'm going to pull up the actual numbers, the individual numbers to show Julius Randle's regression. Right. And you're going to find these numbers very interesting. Obviously, last season, 2020, 2021, he averaged 24.1 points per game, 6 assists, 10.2 rebounds, shot 81.1% from the free throw line, 45.6 from the field, and 41.1% from 3-point range. Obviously, last season, second team All-NBA, and he made his first All-Star game last season, right? The Knicks got the 4th seed and got knocked out in the first round. So that was last year. And then moving on to this year, right? Obvious regression in points. He's scoring almost 5 points less at 19.3. 1 assist less at 5 assists per game. Rebounding still pretty much around the same clip, right? 10 rebounds per game, right? Free throw shooting has went down 4% at 77.1. Field goal percentages went down around 4 points at 41.7. And obviously the biggest drop off for me is the 3-point shooting, 32.8% compared to 41.1% last season. And I think that's the biggest regression in Julius Randle. Like his turnovers are still the same. He still has 3.5 turnovers per game, which he was doing last season, right? But to me, the 3-point shooting is the biggest difference for me. His shot is just not falling this year. And I think that's the reason why you see a drop off in points. Rebounds and assists are pretty much the same, right? He missed some key free throws at the end of some of these games, right? That's obvious, right? And
he's always missing free throws. He's always missing things.
Not quite. That's not what the numbers say. But I would give you this. I do think that he has missed some key free throws at the end of games. I think he has made some mistakes at the end of games, getting technical fouls, and that kind of stuff can't happen, right? So to me, I blame the reason why he's having such a regression is because of his 3-point shooting. He's not shooting the ball well. I think. Well, I'm talking about as far as the numbers are concerned. He's still a 19-10 player. He's still a 19-10. He's still very highly productive, right? It's just that he's not having the same type of season he had last year. So that's why I call it a regression. And I think that's the biggest reason why. If it's shooting, let's say Julius Randle was shooting close to 40%. I don't think we'll be having a lot of these discussions, right? Because the Knicks will, they will score more points. Julius Randle's percentages will be higher, right? And I think the Knicks will win a little bit more ball games because of that specifically. So that's what I blame it on more than anything. What do you say to that?
Can I say something to you? When I say almighty 4th seed, and when I say the C word, you know the whole team regressed from last season? Mm-hmm. Do you know that Everybody has a positive plus minus when Randle is off the floor. Josh, I need you to come to grips with he's fitting out instead of trying to fit in. Remember when LeBron told Kevin Love that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to see you average 5 assists no more. I don't need to see the ball in your hands no more. I don't need to see you think that you're number 7 anymore. It stunts the offense. His regression goes beyond the box scores, and you know it. And people in this chat know it. So stop trying to come on here and say it's just his 3-point percentage. You know, it's an aberration when somebody shoots 8% or 7% above their normal 3-point percentage. You know that has never been done. Randle's the only person that has done that. This man put up Larry Bird numbers, bro. And you mean to sit here and tell me about his 19 and 10. I would like for his 19 and 10 to be with while winning, right? That's what we need. And shout outs to the super chat. Josh, I would like for you to, shout Kaiser Sosa. Shout outs to Kaiser Sosa.
Oh yeah, I will. Are you done with your point? Because I'm about to.
Yes.
All right, so let me bring this up right here.
Mm-hmm.
What about his defensive rating of 111 and net negative 5.2 net rating? Randle has the worst plus minus on the team and a negative 137 of this season. We shouldn't have extended. Okay, and we're going to talk about that. Thank you for the super chat, Kaiser Sose. But see, the reason everyone's talking about box scores, and Josh, you know what's different than the box scores, but you guys are the ones talking about box scores. You guys are the ones talking about plus minus. So don't get mad at me when I use stats to prove my point. Right? Obviously, Julius Randle has regressed this season. That's why I agree with you. He has regressed. And I think it is beyond the box score. I think it's body language. I think it's everything that we're talking about.
Ego, body language, ego.
See, I don't know about pettiness. The whole ego thing. I don't know about the whole ego thing. So I'll explain it to you this way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything Julius Randle's doing this season as far as his production, right? Not production, but the type of style he plays, he was doing that last season. No one said a word about it. You know why? Because Julius Randle was knocking down his 3-point shot. You can live with the fact that he has three and a half turnovers per game because he was more efficient from the field. You can live with that, right? He's doing the same thing this season. He's playing the same play style. The ball's in his hands this year just as much as it was last season, over 27% usage rate.
So
the only difference, hold on. The only difference is now Julius Randle's not knocking out his shots at the same clip. So it looks like, or it appears as if, he's not doing the same things, but he's doing some of the same things he was doing last season. And not a lot of people had anything to say about it. Why? Because the Knicks were winning and he was knocking down his shots. So you guys want to talk about all this box score stuff. And then when I throw it back at you, it's like, oh, it's more than that. It's more than that. And I agree that it's more than that, but let's not act like the guy is just a complete loss on the floor when he's out there. He's still a 19 and 10 player. He's still very, very productive. And I know recently, the couple games before he went out with health and safety protocols, he wasn't playing that well. But Julius Randle is still a productive player, and he can help this team win. Obviously, he's not playing well, but let's not act like he is, completely useless. So go ahead.
I love that stat by Kaiser Sosa. And what you just said, Josh, is cap. Defensive rating last season. Did you know Randle was 3rd last season in defensive rating?
Mm-hmm.
He's not even a defensive player all that much. You know why he was 3rd? Because he was hustling his butt off. He was playing hard. He was playing with passion. He was playing with heart. He was playing like he wanted to get paid. Then he gets paid, and he doesn't play the same. That's all. We want the old Randle back because this dude is garbage.
Oh, you want the Randle from last season? You want the Randle from last season?
Yeah, damn. The Randle that didn't see 2K fans, the Randle that seen less fans in the stands. I want him back.
So you want the Randle that had 3.5 turnovers per game last season and shot the same amount of shots and had the same usage rate. You want that Randle back?
Every turnover ain't the same. For example, LeBron turnovers ain't Russell Westbrook turnovers. Did you know Julius Randle was a top 5 mid-range jump shooter last season? Did you know this season he's dead ranked last?
That's what I said. I said his shooting percentages. That's why I mentioned his shooting percentages. And that's the reason why I feel like last season no one had a problem with it because he was able to knock down his shot. He was much more confident he can be able to knock it down. The reason why people don't like it this year is because he's not knocking those shots down. right? So you want to talk about his play style and him being selfish and all of that. I don't agree with some of that stuff, but you can talk about that all you want. But last season he was doing the same thing, and not a lot of people had a problem with it. Why? Because he was knocking down his shots. So that's the issue here. That to me, that explains the biggest regression in Randle. And it's all on him. I'm not blaming nobody else but him. It's on him for not knocking down the shots. You know what I'm saying? I'm not blaming anybody else around him. But let's not act like Julius Randle didn't play this same style of basketball last year and no one had a problem with it.
I didn't like it last year. They just
okay, but not a lot of people. But guess what? A lot of people didn't have anything to say about it. You know why? Because the Knicks were winning, right? And Randle was the one that was carrying them to most of those victories. That's the reason why.
What I always tell you about last season. What I told you about last season during last season, brother. What I told you how I felt about that season.
Oh, no fans in the stands, the COVID year and all that stuff. Is that where you're going? Is that the best card you got in your pocket? Because Julius Randle because on national TV, Julius Randle can average 30 points per game. When all the lights are on him and everyone's watching from around the country and the stands are packed all the way to capacity, right? So is that the reason why he's not shooting well? Are you really going to make that the reason?
Randle a funny cat because that narrative is true. Julius Randle does show up national TV. I think he averaged 25 and like 12 in national TV games because all the women is watching. He know everybody watching. So he shows, I cannot stand this man. One game he wants to play good basketball. The next game he wants to play like a clown. This is why he's never going to be a one option. This is why he's never going to be a two option. He can be a three option. You might want him to be your fourth option because if your third option is elite on ball, why would you put the ball in Randle's hands before him? So he got to check his ego at the door, brother. That's the way this is going to work.
What do you mean by ego? What do you mean? Why do you think Julius Randle has an ego?
Bro, when he's off ball, watch him off ball. I've been doing that for the past month. His off-ball body language is horrible. You don't cut to the basket. Obi Toppin, you know why the team functions better when Obi Toppin's on the court? You know why all the numbers shows that the Knicks look way better when Obi Toppin's on the court? Because Obi Toppin cuts. He does the little things that Randle don't do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just sick and tired of this dude when it comes to making excuses for him. He got paid. I'm from New York.
Who's making excuses for him? though? I didn't make any excuses. I tell you, he's been playing. The past few games he's been playing terrible. I've clearly said it. He's been playing like straight up trash.
Bro,
but the way y'all make it seem, and the reason that's the whole topic of this video. A lot of people make it seem like the Knicks shouldn't have gave him an extension, and we're going to talk about that. We're also going to cover Obi. That's going to be the next question, but. The issue that I have with this whole thing is that people act like Julius Randle is a total loss, right? That Julius Randle is a terrible player. Julius Randle's not a terrible player. He still averages 19 and 10. He still is very consistent, for the most part, consistent. He's going to get you 19 and 10. If he's not scoring, he can fill up the stat sheet in other ways, and I think that helps the team, right? Now, I do agree. The way his style of basketball, the way he's been playing this season hasn't helped the team. I'm not defending him on that. That's on him. That's on Randle. But some of you Knick fans act like this guy is just a total loss, and I just don't agree with that point. And you one of those fans, unfortunately. You think that Julius Randle is a waste of time, and you don't want to see him on the floor ever again. And I disagree with that.
I think So here's my thing. I think Randle's a great player. But
he's a what? Say that again.
Randle's a great player. There's a lot of great players in the NBA. I watched Gilbert Arenas. Gilbert Arenas not a great player. These are great players. During this time, he's a good NBA player. He's a great NBA player. The problem is he's miscast in the wrong role, and his weaknesses cannot be masked now with this current roster because you're starting Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker, and his leadership skills is being exposed. I know Kobe Bryant has never taught him to get up while the coach is still talking and everybody else is on.
Kobe used to do that all the time.
Kobe ain't never do that to Phil Jackson. Be respectful. Be respectful. He begged for Phil to come back. Don't do that.
First of all, Okay, so let me just crush some of these narratives that you got going.
Please do, because I don't like his leadership skills at all.
First of all, you said that Julius Randle's proven that he's not a number one option on a championship team. No one said that he was. He's not getting paid like it. His extension doesn't show.
So people wasn't saying over the summer he can't be a championship one option. You gonna say
no? What people were saying. Well, I'm not going to speak for everyone else. I'm gonna tell you what I was saying.
So
what I was saying for this current Knick team, Julius Randle is the number one option, right? But this front office needs to do. Hold on. But this front office needs to do more to bring in other number one options that can lead us to the championship. And Julius Randle can be a supplemental piece, right, to building something here. But that, to me, I felt like he should have got paid. And again, I'm going to talk about this later on. Other players like, Jaylen Brown is someone who I've always wanted to have on this team. Brandon Ingram, players like that, wings who can be able to score. Whenever Julius Randle's not doing this thing, you got a bona fide number one that can be able to do that. And the Knicks can be able to use those two together and put pieces around them, role players or what have you, to get to the next level. That's how I always felt. I never felt Julius Randle was going to be the number one option to get us to a championship. I've never felt that way. I just felt like for this current team, he was the number one option, and the Knicks, in the short term, have to put some pieces to help the team be successful. And I think that's what they attempted to do with Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker. Has it worked out? No. It has not worked out so far. The team is not playing their best basketball. However, I'm not going to sit here and throw Julius Randle to the wolves and say that he shouldn't have got paid. And, it absolutely means nothing that Julius Randle's on this team. I just disagree with that notion. I think there's levels to it.
He makes $100+ million. All those excuses that you talking, brother.
What excuses?
Went out the window during the summer. I don't want to hear about he's still putting up 19 and 10. It's a disgusting 19 and 10.
What excuses did I?
He's fighting teammates for rebounds. He still brings up the ball, bro. Why is he bringing up the ball and Kemba Walker's on the court with him?
You tell me. How come Kemba Walker can't go get the ball from him? The veteran point guard.
Are you kidding me? So Randle sets picks and literally has sent his caboose right in front of Kemba and calls for the ball. I've seen Kemba.
You're going all over the place now because you just mentioned about him bringing up the ball, and now you're talking about what happens when they get in the half court. Hold on. But that's two different points. No.
These are annoying tendencies that help with us losing. That goes into it. This is all.
Okay. But what I'm saying is, and my biggest point in this whole first topic that I'm trying to make to you is a lot of this stuff Julius Randle was doing last season, and it contributed to the Knicks winning. The only difference is with everything, with production wise, is that he's not shooting the ball great. So now it looks worse, right? And the team is not shooting the ball the best, right? I agree with what you're saying. I think that's annoying tendencies, but again, a lot of this stuff Julius Randle's doing now, he was doing last season, and it contributed to the Knicks winning. So for anyone to say that all of this stuff is just terrible play and terrible, like it looks terrible because the Knicks aren't winning and he's not knocking his shots down. But when he knocks his shots down and everyone else knocks their shots down that have been wide open when Julius Randle has passed them the ball, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now. That's what I'm saying. That's the difference.
That's fact. I'm not going to disagree with that. He need to play better. He need to check his ego at the door.
No question.
He need to stop. He needs to start hustling back on defense. I don't see
no
RJ
question
not hustling back on defense. I don't see Obi not hustling back on defense. I just want to see better from him. He doesn't need to put up 20 and 10 for this team to win games at all. At all. He doesn't need. I've seen games when he scored less than 8 and we've won the game. So
I agree with that.
Well, he just gotta relax his nerves. Hopefully, he's sitting out a couple of games. He actually gets to watch how the team functions without him on the court. And now 2 things can be said about what we're about to watch. Either the Knicks could look trash, and I'm going to have to come back on here and apologize to you.
Hold on. We're about to get into that. That's going to be the next topic. And you leading right into it. We're going to ask that question. That question. And obviously the Knicks put out in their PR statement yesterday that Julius Randle has entered health and safety protocols. Obviously, I think this was inevitable with, the C word going all around the league and specifically on the Knicks. They just had a bunch of guys come back from it. So I think it was inevitable that Julius Randle was going to end up in this type of situation. First and foremost, I want to say, I would hope, and I've seen some stuff on Twitter. I'm not even going to talk about the negative stuff, but I would hope there's nobody really out there that truly feels glad that Julius Randle is going through a type of COVID type of situation. Particularly, he has newborn baby at home. Apparently, his mom's a diabetic. So it's all these little stuff that's going into it. So I would hope no one is wishing bad upon Julius just for the sake of basketball. You know what I'm saying? So Julius Randle get well soon. Hopefully everything goes well. But this situation that we're about to witness over the next 3 or 4 games is what the fans have been waiting for, right? Julius Randle out, right? And now you have an opportunity to see the starting lineup without Julius Randle. So you can continue on what you were saying, but generally I want to know, what are your expectations these next 3 or 4 games that Julius Randle's out? Who do you expect to be in his place? And who do you expect to replace his production to be that go-to guy in the offense?
So I'm gonna start it off like this. Now, say the first question again.
My first question is, what are your expectations for the Knicks in the next 3 or 4 games? Their production, who do you expect to take that role to be that go-to guy in the offense? How do you think the Knicks are gonna fare? Who's gonna,
So
that? Go ahead.
So Josh, here's the it's like a gift and a curse, right? Mm-hmm. So I didn't know some of his family members was diabetic. So God bless Randle and his family. And God bless those people who wrote those disgusting comments under the tweet where it said Randle had was going in the C protocol. That's just disgusting because I work in a hospital setting, and I've seen people laying on their back and stuff. And I'm not even going to get into all of that, but thank God Randle can get healthy and hopefully he could come back better. So 2 narratives could come from these next couple of games, Josh, and this is going to tear the fan base apart. So one side of the narrative is going to be, if the Knicks stink without Randle, I'm going to have to come on here and personally apologize to you and a lot of Knicks fans for saying that Randle, and I've said this, and a lot of other people said this, but, a lot of people be scared, Josh, to just say how they feel. And, me, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I'm just saying what's on my mind. Okay. A lot of people have said Randle holds the kids back. I've heard that a lot.
Right.
And anybody who says they've never heard that, they're lying.
Right.
I've heard Randle holds the offense back.
Mm-hmm.
I've also heard Randle, and Randle holds RJ Barrett back.
Mm-hmm.
So if we stink without Randle, I will formally apologize to you, Josh. But if the Knicks look good without Randle, if Obi Toppin starts and he gives me minimum 16-8 minimum, and we win all of these games and all my kids look like they function way better without Randle, Josh, you would have to find him a new home, or he will really have to check his ego at the door. Because if he comes back and he messes up that chemistry, then there's going to be a lot of locker room problems. So,
got you. All right. So before I respond to you, I just want to highlight some of these comments. Once again, thank y'all all for watching. I know it's New Year's Eve. I know y'all want to get with y'all families. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to be on too long. Like I told State prior to this show, I'm only going to be on here 45 minutes to an hour. I don't like staying on all day. I got stuff to do. But I want to highlight some of these comments. First and foremost, let's do D Public Enemy number 1. Appreciate it. He says, we witnessed last night what the Knicks look like without Randle. You didn't play in the fourth quarter. Okay. RJ Barrett also didn't play in the fourth quarter either, but no one wants to talk about that. But I'll get to that. Real King, count your days, y'all, so I don't know what he's talking about. Bodega Wi-Fi, I respect that state. A lot of fans are already giving excuses, so we don't hold them, in their opinion, accountable. Please, hold me accountable. I come on here, everyone knows, they see my face, they know what I'm about to come with. I come with the smoke. I don't hold punches. So please hold me accountable. And please, once this video is done, leave comments in the comment section, particularly after the game. You know what I'm saying? Everything that we talk about right now is going to be on display either tonight. You know what I'm saying? I know it's only going to be one game, but yeah. Tricky Nicky said Obi 30 and 10. Oh, let's see. He has no real offensive game. I don't know if that's going to happen because he doesn't have any post moves whatsoever. I think he gets most of his points via dunks and making those hustle plays. I don't see 30 and 10 from Obi tonight. Can he get 16 and 10. He has to knock down his threes. So I think if he can do that, he can get 16 and 10. But we still have to see that side of Obi. We haven't seen that yet, even in his limited role. That potential to be a 30-point scorer.
Real quick, Josh, while this is on my brain.
Yep.
Josh, is all about opportunity. I watched Franz Wagner score 38 the other night. Mm-hmm. It's all about opportunity. Obi's about to get the opportunity. We don't know what he could really do yet. We're about to find out.
All right. DieHardKnicks said the real problem is not Randle's talent. Actually, it's his basketball IQ, attitude, and effort. If he missed shots all day but did not take plays off, the fans will still support him. So I disagree with that. I think that because if the team's losing, people are always going to find someone to blame. People are always going to look for someone to blame if the team is losing. So I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But I think most of the fans' hate comes from the fact that the Knicks are not winning, and they're looking at Randle, who's supposedly supposed to be the best player. He is the best player, but the way y'all put it, supposedly supposed to be the best player, he's not playing his best basketball. That makes him an easy punch it back for everyone.
I disagree to agree with you, Josh, only on the fact that when you make the almighty 4th seed, expectations come with that. So if you're under 500 at any time this season, I think fans have a right to complain regardless of who they're complaining about.
Murdoch says Julius Randle plays from the outside. He's not an inside force, so he won't be missed from the perimeter. We have enough perimeter players to hold it down. So this one I kind of agree with, only for the simple fact that Julius Randle over the past couple seasons, he has pretty much forced himself to be a perimeter player. He hasn't used his ability to get inside effectively enough, in my opinion. And I think that some of that is on him, but also I think the construction, right? When you have Mitchell Robinson there and you have Nerlens Noel there and you don't have a real guy who can stretch the floor to play alongside Julius Randle, the paint gets clogged up and the Knicks are less effective in the paint. I think that's why you have RJ Barrett not being that effective of an inside presence. So I think that's a part of it as well. Why do you think when Randle's on the floor with Obi Toppin, the offense looks so much better? Because they can be able to stretch the floor. So I agree with you on that, Murdoch, but maybe not for the same kinds of reasons. And then I'm going to highlight one more comment from Real King. This is the one that caught my eye. He said, Josh, hoping we lose bad tonight. Never, ever. I'm all about the Knicks winning. Like if my point is wrong, if I'm wrong about something in regards to the Knicks, you know what I'm saying, and they wind up winning, I will fall on my sword and I will eat my words 100% of the time. You won't have to worry about that. I'm all about the Knicks winning. So forget about that narrative. I don't know where that's coming from. But
that comes from Josh, real quick. That comes from people who, when you want to see somebody fail, so it can help your narrative, so you can say I was right. A lot of people secretly feel that way. So you got a lot of fans tonight who secretly want to see RJ fail. You secretly, not everybody, but just to prove a point, just to say I was right. And I think that's stuff like that is wrong. And of course we want to win. We got the almighty 4th seed last season. We got to win now. Come on now.
I'll just say this. People can call me the RJ hater all you want. And after I read this, when I'm about to read, I'm still going to be calling me an RJ hater. Josh hopes RJ fails tonight. I don't have that much of an ego, but I will say this. You guys talking about plus minus, right? And what Randle's plus minus is and the rest of the team with Randle off the floor. In the 6 games in which RJ Barrett was out, right, through the health and safety protocols, we talk about the starting unit and their effectiveness. I always felt like Alec Burks should be in there instead of RJ. Not knocking RJ, I just don't think RJ fits with the first unit. I think he fits better with the second unit. But I'll read this stat out to you anyway. The Knicks starters right now are currently 27th in the NBA and them scoring, right? 66 points per game. And that's in about 30 minutes of play. In those 6 games that RJ was out, right, and they put Burks in that starting lineup for RJ, the Knicks were scoring, the starters were scoring 76.3 points per game in 33 minutes. Right?
Wait, hold on.
And that's good for 11th in the NBA during that time period. So the starters played better without RJ Barrett out there, plus minus production, right? Points per game when RJ was out compared to when he was in there.
What was our record those games, Alex?
Those 6 games we were 2-4. We were 2-4. We went against Boston, we went against Milwaukee, and I forget the other team, but 3 of those teams are top 10 in the NBA in defense. But the reason why I bring that stat up there because that talks about the starting unit. right? The starting unit specifically. I'm not talking about the entire team as a game. The overall, I'm talking about the unit production, the starters versus the bench. I've always felt like RJ Barrett fit better with the second unit than he did with the first unit.
Obviously, he fits better with the second unit. Now, let's put context. Obviously, he fits better with the second unit because the second unit plays faster. And obviously, the ball goes through RJ. Obviously, the ball moves.
Yes.
When RJ came back his first game and he shot horribly from the floor, did you know the starters was finally in a plus minus? They was finally a positive. Did you know when RJ came back, Evan Fournier started to look good? You know, I don't want to hear about RJ Barrett not being out of the starting lineup because it reminds me of when Kemba Walker was benched. And we're not going to get into that today because he was the scapegoat in 9 straight DNPs. And we're not going to get into that today. So leave my man RJ out of this. He was out for 2 weeks while your man was building brick houses, real estate, right? In Madison Square Garden. And just leave my man's out of this. Just let him get his win back.
I tell you what, the question was about expectations now that Randle's out, and that's the reason why I bring that stat up. This is RJ Barrett's time.
Oh, this is time, baby.
I don't want to hear anything else from anybody talking about RJ Barrett didn't have this, he didn't have that. Right?
Wait,
so that's the reason why
you talking box scores?
I'm talking about RJ Barrett being that go-to guy in this offense. A lot of people are saying that Julius Randle was holding him out, and Julius Randle was the reason why RJ Barrett shot bad, and Julius Randle this, Julius Randle that. Now I don't want to hear any excuses. So if RJ Barrett is that dude, the way y'all make it seem like he is, right? You know, Julius Randle's holding him back. Julius Randle ain't there no more, right? So listen. That's what I want to see in these next 3 or 4 games. Somebody else to step up. And that's what I've been saying in regards to Julius Randle and the rest of the team, right? There's going to be nights where Julius Randle struggles. This season, it's been a lot more than we wanted to see, right? However, there needs to be somebody else to step up and take that role. Everyone's talking about RJ Barrett taking the third year leap and everything like that, right? Everyone's talking about two-way RJ. Where's two-way RJ been this season? He hasn't been two-way RJ this season.
He's next to Evan Fournier. How can he defend the best perimeter player when the other two is trash?
You see how people deflect? You see how people deflect and talk about Evan Fournier and everybody else other than RJ?
So you want your 21-year-old? Hold on. Let's context. I love context.
Yeah, go ahead. I want the 21-year-old to do what? I want the 21-year-old to do what?
You put RJ Barrett next to Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker, my 21-year-old, and you expect for him to be defensively good this season?
Hold on, I didn't say that. No. I
really?
Didn't bring up that. Hold on, wait a minute, State. I didn't bring up that narrative. He did. He said he wanted to be a better two-way player. He said that. A lot of these fans
say that.
Hold on. Wait a minute. He said that, and a lot of these fans were saying that RJ Barrett, after that first game where he defended Jason Tatum, good or whatever, RJ Barrett's going to take that next step. So it ain't me. It ain't me that put those expectations on him. It's the rest of the fan base. I'm the one that said there was a possibility RJ Barrett can be the 4th option because of the history of Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier. I said that was a possibility. So don't blame this on me. It's not me that said that. He said that, and some of you fans said that. And now that he's not that type of player, he's 21 years old. Where was all this energy? Huh?
He's not what type. Did you know Bradley Beal scored less in his 4th year than he scored in his 3rd? Why do you guys do stuff like this? Why do y'all, Randle has the ball in his goddamn hands damn near every play. Why do you do this, bro? Why do you do
this? He had the ball,
yes.
But guess what? He had the ball in his hands last season. RJ Barrett improved shooting, and no one said anything about that. Oh, RJ is this, RJ is that. But now he's not making the shots. Oh, it's Randle's fault now. You see how messed up that narrative is?
You know the difference between me and you is? It's like Ash Ketchum and Gary O. This is the difference between me and you. I don't take stock in the last season. You know why? Even RJ's shooting worse than this season, last season. Right, why would I take stock in the almighty 4th seed?
Hold on, wait a minute. You just mentioned Bradley Beal shooting worse in his 4th season compared to his 3rd season. So what does that mean? So what does that mean? You are using last season.
Hold on. That's to defend RJ from people like you who is saying he's not making his 3rd year leap without no context. You know Kemba Walker's.
Is he making a 3rd year leap? Is he making a 3rd year leap right now?
No. Is Randle
That's what I'm saying.
3rd year leap? That's why I'm mad with him.
I am. I'm very mad with Julius Randle. I am. But again, Context, like you said.
Throwing darts at RJ. You throwing darts now.
Hold on. The reason why we even talking about this is not a Randle versus RJ thing. I'm not trying to put them against one another. Too often people say, well, Randle didn't have a good game, and then people were like, well, RJ had a good game, so this is RJ's team. People did that after he had the Pelicans. After the Pelicans game, RJ scored 30-something points. Randle didn't have his best game, right? And now people were saying, RJ is the real leader of this team. This is RJ's team, all right? So people constantly do that, and that's not the reason why we're having this conversation. But I'm talking about these narratives that get put out there that say Julius Randle is holding RJ Barrett back. The Knicks are holding RJ Barrett back, which is not true. Not true at all. RJ Barrett is not having that good of a season. And I'm saying with the next 3 games with Julius Randle being out, there is no excuse. Literally no excuse for all these narratives that all the Knicks fans had about RJ Barrett moving forward. There's no excuse for him not to go out and play well. I personally, and I'm not even talking about production. I don't care if RJ Barrett scores 20, 25, 30 points.
Yes, you do.
I don't care about the
yes,
No, I don't. I don't. I really don't.
If he comes out and scores 10 tonight, I'm bumming RJ. So we not even going. Don't say that.
But listen, hear me out. This is what I'm trying to say. Yes, I would feel some type of way, but to me, that's not what I'm really looking for over the next 3-4 games, right? Because people can have off shooting nights, whatever. I'm not worried about that. I don't come down on RJ when he has an off shooting night. Not this season. I haven't done that. What I'm looking for from RJ Barrett is for him to say, I got it. I'm taking the reins over this team. That's the third-year elite that I want to see. I want to see the ball go to RJ and RJ Barrett. When he gets hot, get out of my way. I got it. Be a little bit selfish. Have a little bit of that aggressiveness in him. RJ Barrett has been a very, very passive player for a very, very long time. And I think the difference that he needs to make is to be that go-to dude in this offense. And Randle's not here to stop him anymore because of that. So I want to see him take over. That's what I want to see.
So I definitely agree with that. And I've said this before, and I said this to Ebro as well. RJ is too nice. I don't like that about him. He's too nice. He's so polite. He's so well-spoken. Yo, we from New York, brother. I need some mean streak in him. That video the other day, we said, you watching me, right? I need more of that.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
And I need more of, you see when Randle gets the ball, immediately calls an ISO, like he wanted. I've seen RJ Barrett get the ball on a switch and literally give up the ball.
Right. Yes. Like, now we agree on something. Yes.
My boy.
Yes.
Take the big off the dribble. But then I gotta temper expectations because my boy RJ has the handle of a 3-year-old. I gotta understand that. So it's not about. I'm glad we had that conversation just now because we're having a live debate. But that's how it be on Twitter every day. Like that's what you're hearing when it comes to the Randle RJ topic, and it's depressing sometimes because it's like it's the front of the jersey. It's not the back of the jersey. Right.
Let me just say this. Let me just highlight this comment from Real King. He said, no, let RJ facilitate and play lockdown D. That's cool for me. See, for me, that's not cool. You know why? RJ Barrett's not a point guard. Same thing I said about Alec Burks. Alec Burks is not a point guard. Like, I think you limit RJ's effectiveness by putting him in a point guard type of role, right? Yeah, he has the ability to facilitate, but that comes through the course of the game as far as him getting himself off with his shot, right? And him being able to get to the rack and slash and things of that nature. But to have him be like a full-time facilitator like a point guard is supposed to be, to me, I think that limits him. So, no, I don't want to see RJ gets facilitated and play lockdown D. I want to see RJ take over the reins of the offense, meaning the offense goes through him, right? Not necessarily him being the point guard bringing the ball up, but in a half-court set, RJ is going to get that ball. His usage rate is going to go up, and he's going to decide what's going to happen with the basketball as far as if he's going to take it, if he's going to get to the free throw line. That's a big one for me, getting to the free throw line, and then off his ability to score, being able to find other people, right? So, that's what I want to see from RJ Barrett, not just being a full-time facilitator.
So for me, I'm going to go at it at a different angle. I don't want to see RJ just facilitating or none of that crap. He was picked 3rd overall. That's it. He's the highest pick since Patrick Ewing.
And he's not a point guard. He's not a point guard.
It's not even about him being a point guard. Him being on ball, that's his game. He was on ball in high school. He was on ball in college. Him being on ball is what made him one of the highest decorated players since LeBron James in high school. Playing on ball. When he came to the Knicks, we changed his role, and now at times he looks like a spot-up shooter. At times he doesn't look comfortable. He looks more comfortable when the ball is in his hands. Not necessarily as a point guard, Josh. You got to think of today's NBA as far as wing creators. A lot of wings today creates offense. A lot of point guards today plays the halfback role. Miami, for example, they run their offense through Jimmy Buckets, but when you need a fourth down, you give it to Kyle Lowry. He take you home. So that's why I'm trying to go with that, man. No excuses for RJ Barrett, man. He was picked third. I love RJ. People know I wouldn't trade him for God, but there's a reason why I'm saying that. The reason why I'm saying that is because of my belief that he will become a superstar, or he will become a consistent all-star level player where we can have somebody who would want to join him in New York, who RJ does not mind sharing the light with him, because we've seen it at Duke. RJ is low maintenance, bro, very low maintenance. And, Zion was the face. People turned on Duke to see Zion. But it's very interesting to say when I hear stuff like Zion say, this is RJ's team. That's interesting. So RJ was the leader of that team, probably wasn't Zion. So let's see, man. Let's see RJ, show up. Let's see him show up, man. It's going to be interesting.
And this is the last thing I'll say on the RJ point. After this, we're going to talk a little bit about Obi before we get to the next topic. But this is the last thing I'll say about RJ. A lot of people, specifically like the RJ loyalists or whatever, Hadouken. Shout out to Hadouken, by the way. No Life Podcast. That's my dog. He's a huge RJ supporter, right? But people act like RJ Barrett is better than what he is now. I don't see superstar potential in RJ right now. Why? RJ Barrett's dribbling skills need a lot of work. RJ Barrett's finishing skills need a lot of work. His shot is inconsistent. And him as a player, he's just very, very inconsistent. I don't see any part of RJ's game right now that shows eliteness or has potential to be elite. I don't see any part of that. And to me, that's the reason why I don't think he's a superstar. I think, or it will be a superstar. I think for his current role in this team, I think he's a role player. He hasn't shown me anything higher than a role player, except for those games against the Pelicans and the other game when he scored over 30. If I can get a little bit more of that on a consistent basis every single night, I would feel a little bit different. And I'll say this, if RJ Barrett does take that next step over these next 3 or 4 games where he can score, the offense is going through him, production aside, but the offense is going through him and he's commanding that offense as a scorer, then I would say, you know what, maybe the front office needs to make a decision between either RJ or Julius Randle, because I don't think RJ and Julius Randle fits necessarily the best together. I think for me, I would like to see Alec Brooks in that starting lineup. But if RJ Barrett can become that dude, then I would have to consider, the front office making some moves, because then you have something on your hands with RJ. But right now, I just don't see it. But also missing in this whole conversation is Obi, right? Obi Toppin is projected to start in the starting lineup for Julius Randle tonight. How do you think Obi Toppin is going to do throughout this next 3 or 4 games? How do you project that happening?
Yo, man, I'm so I was annoyed at the draft pick at first, because it's like, why would you pick Obi 8th? We just finished picking Frank Ntilikina 8th. For the OG Knick fans who's watching right now, we picked Frederick Weiss over Ron Artest. I believe that was back in the 90s. Another French player who never came to America because Vince Carter jumped over him. I love Obi, man. Obi, last year he was horrible. I think he was horrible because there wasn't fans in the stands, and he's an energy player. Energy. He feeds off the crowd, feeds off that energy. And then when you see fans come back, you see his energy get back, he's running up the court. I love Obi. And you don't draft a player that high to be Randle's backup after seeing that type of season Randle had. So now, we go into this season, my expectations with Obi was very low. He looks really good, Josh. And he's another guy who be putting on Front Street along with RJ Barrett, because there are fans. Now, Josh, you've seen the 2 narratives too. And I apologize, Josh. I know you said 45 minutes, but it's never going to be a 45-minute show when Stadium's on, bro.
45 minutes to an hour. We almost done. I got you. We almost done. Yep.
So it's like the narrative of why would you pick Obi Toppin? You got Cole Anthony, you got Halliburton, you could have had a starting point guard, or the narrative of why you didn't trade Julius Randle, why you didn't start because Obi Toppin could put up Julius Randle numbers or numbers that's similar, and it might look better. And it might look better for winning basketball. Let's see. We got 4 games. My expectation, if he starts these next 3 games, I want no minimum 15-7. I'm not asking for a lot. I'm just asking for him to give me 15-7. There's no Randle there. There's nobody to point the finger at. It's nobody to hide behind. No, nothing. So get it. And it's no Derrick Rose there. So get it done. That's what I want to see. He got to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to play a lot of minutes. That's definitely going to happen. But my thing with Obi is, and I know you hit a bunch of different points, but I'm going to first talk about what I expect over these next 3 games, and then I'm going to work my way back to when they drafted him. So over these next 3-4 games, I'm going to see Obi try to develop a little bit of a more offensive game, right? His game is primarily dunks, alley-oops, fast break points, energy, hustle points, the Ronaldo, Balkman type of play, diving on the floor, all of that type of stuff. But I'm going to see Obi Toppin become a little bit more effective in the post, right? Can the Knicks be able to give him the ball in the post? He's a really good passer. People forget in college, Obi Toppin was a gifted passer. So I think that he can incorporate some of that part into his game. I think that part can replace what Randle can do as far as passing the basketball. But as far as the scoring and being that go-to guy that can draw double teams, I don't know if Obi can do that yet. So I'm looking to see if he can try to develop that over these next 3 or 4 games if he's put in that role. I don't think the bulk of the scoring is going to come from him. Someone said he's going to score 30 points. I just don't see that happening unless he gets super hot from the 3-point line, and he's averaging 20% this season. So I'm going to be a little bit patient with Obi in this regard because I know Obi is not that kind of player. He doesn't have that kind of potential in the NBA, but I'm going to be a little bit patient with him. Now, going back to what you said about when the Knicks drafted him, look, everyone knows the Knicks needed a point guard for years. Halliburton was available, all of that stuff. I personally wanted the Knicks to draft Obi Toppin for a couple reasons. One, he was the best player available on the board, and he was projected to go way higher than what he was, right? 2, I don't think the Knicks at the time was sold on Julius Randle yet, right? They were probably looking for moves for Julius Randle at the time, and I think that's the reason why they drafted Obi Toppin. And the last thing I'll say about that is people say that, Obi is not the Tibbs kind of player. I disagree with that as well. Yeah, Obi Toppin's not the best defender, right? I know Tibbs like his defenders, but Tom Thibodeau, to me, enjoys the coaching aspect of basketball, meaning developing a player, turning a player into what he used to be into what he is now. He enjoys the process of coaching. He probably felt, in all likelihood, that Obi Toppin was a coachable kind of player that I can mold and I can develop. And we've seen the development from year 1 to year 2. That's why everyone is so high on Obi Toppin right now. So I get it. Yeah, the Knicks needed a point guard. They really haven't addressed that need since. But I think that's the reason why they drafted Obi Toppin overall, because at the time they really weren't sold on Randle. How it plays out moving forward, it still has yet to be seen. There's times where Tibbs put them on the floor at the same time, him and Randle on the floor at the same time. And to me, that was a really good, productive lineup that they had out there. But moving forward, if Obi Toppin takes that next step, the organization, again, will have to make a decision on how to proceed forward with Obi.
Yeah, man. These next few games is going to be very, very interesting, to say the least. Hopefully, if we win these next few games, man, that would, besides the whole Randle thing, it vindicates a lot of people as far as, we finally get to play all our draft picks. Never seen it done before, Josh. I've been watching the Knicks for 21 years, bro. I think we didn't have first-round picks. Out of the past 21 years, we didn't have first-round picks for at least 12 of those years. At least 12. I remember Isaiah Thomas trading every first-round pick known to man. Scott Layden, Grunwald. I remember LeBron pump faking in 2010. The whole Kyrie KD situation. Like, I remember all of that. So to have this young core now, all this young talent, and we didn't even mention Jericho Sims, who sometimes I be wanting to see on the court more than Mitchell Robinson and Nerlens Noel combined.
I was a huge fan of Jericho. I wanted the Knicks to draft Jericho Sims, by the way.
I like that kid. I like yo.
Yeah, he's like he eats corn.
Kid,
he's big. You know what I'm saying?
He plays big. He plays like he's 7 foot, but he's actually 6'9". So it's nice to see, man. But one more player I think we got to mention before we get out of here too is Quentin Grimes. It's a thing. It's a thing about trying to win a championship, Josh, and it's a thing about hitting on your late draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing about hitting on those late draft picks. The Spurs, for example. Damn, I can't even use that example. But the hell with it, I'm gonna use it. Go, but whatever. You know, you draft Duncan 1, but then you hit on Ginobili 2nd round. You hit on Tony, that's late 1st. You know, Golden State Warriors, you hit on the 11th pick in Clay. You hit on a late pick in Draymond Green. Late picks matter.
Mm-hmm.
How, if Grimes shows up, what do you think his ceiling could be? Because the one thing I do like with Grimes, him and Randle already got chemistry. I've noticed that. I don't know if other people notice that, but Randle passes Grimes.
Yeah, the dribble handoff game. They got the dribble handoff game.
So, what do you think his ceiling is at? Because I would like to show him some love because finally we're watching him play. And
For me, Quentin Grimes is going to be a 3-and-D kind of player, a guy that can get streaky, he can come off the bench and get streaky, and he's not afraid to put that ball up. He's not afraid to shoot the basketball. He's going to defend. He's going to be in your face. So he's going to be a 3-and-D kind of player. Anything more than that, I really don't know because I haven't really seen Grimes take somebody off the dribble. His dribble, I'm not saying he doesn't have a dribble, but his game is not breaking somebody down, taking them off the dribble. He is a 3-and-D kind of dribble handoff kind of player, and his money, he's going to earn his money on the defensive end. That's mostly where his money is going to come from. I don't see him really being anything more than that. I'm not going to put a ceiling on him, but we have yet to see Quentin Grimes really put the ball on the floor and be a little bit more dynamic. So until I see him do a little bit of that, I don't really think he's going to be more than that, which is not a bad thing. I think that's a really good thing, and it's really important for the Knicks to have that right now. And I think Grimes during this next 3 or 4 games, it's another opportunity for him as well to step up. He won't have Julius Randle passing him the ball. He won't have that dribble handoff game with Julius Randle, but maybe Kemba or one of the other guards can be able to find him. But the last question that I want to talk about before we get out of here, which is the topic of this video, we're going to talk about Julius Randle's extension, right? And should the Knicks have given Julius Randle an extension? Now, I'm going to put the numbers up on the screen. A lot of people don't think the Knicks should have gave him an extension. They thought that it was too premature. I totally disagree with that, and I know you do as well. But let me put these numbers here on the screen for you. So Julius Randle in the offseason signed a 4-year, $117 million extension with the Knicks, and the player option is going to be for the 4th year, which is going to be in the 2025-2026 season of $32.4 million. In his current year, right now, Julius Randle is making $21.7 million. That is obviously separate from the extension. That's on his old Knicks contract that he signed in that offseason of the KD and Kyrie, right? So this is the final year of that contract. But as you can see, next year, he goes to 26.1. The following year, 28.2. Following year after that, 30.3. And then obviously a player option for 32.4. So, State, I already know your answer to this, but for the people who don't know, I want you to make a case for why Julius Randle should not have gotten his extension in the offseason. Go ahead.
Have you watched him this season? Have you watched his effort? Have you watched his disgusting leadership? Have you watched his disgusting ego? It's not even about the box scores with him when it comes for me. He got paid and he looks lazy. And this is the reason why I wanted to wait to pay him. I would have rather paid him after this offseason. No problem. Just show me you could do it again after the almighty 4th seed. Obviously, he would never touch those numbers again because when you sit back at it and you think about it, those was Larry Bird numbers in the 80s when you was getting forearmed in your neck and elbowed in your ribs and all that and all this and getting nicked up going to basket. So, you're supposed to make him earn that money. You know how you make him earn that money? You don't re-sign him last season. You go into this season and you make him earn that money. You think that man would be doing what he's doing right now if he wasn't paid? No, because I'm human. I work a 9 to 5, brother. When you want that money, and if I was an NBA player and I see $100+ million coming to me, this is why the contract year players, when they have great years during contract years, got to be wary of those. NBA history tells you got to see him do it again before you pay him. All right, so I just felt like we paid him too fast, and we gotta deal with it. Now, for Randle, just wake up, bro. He gotta wake up, Josh, ASAP, because this ain't no narrative no more about him being lazy and stuff like that. A lot of people saying it. People in the chat saying it. And I've been reading the chat messages too. It ain't pretty nice about Randle. So he needs to get it together. I disagree with the front office by re-signing him, because you re-signed him and then you paid Evan Fournier $70 million. You give Nerlens hospital bed $30 million. And you give Alec Burks, I want to give you one good game out of every 10 games, $30 million. That is your reward. I don't like it. And that is my reason why we shouldn't have paid Randle last summer.
All right, so obviously I disagree, but I'm going to talk about this comment from Profound Clark. Thank you again. He said, that said, it's really frustrating. The really frustrating thing to me all season was that this talk that Randle took a discount when he took the most money available to him at the time. So here's where you're wrong. First of all, last season wasn't Julius Randle's contract year, because this season is the last year. This current season is the last year on his old contract. So last season was not his contract year. That's number one.
Last season was his contract year, bro.
This season, right now, he's making $21 million. I can pull up the slide again for you. This season, he's making $21.7 million. This is the final year of his previous contract. The extension does not kick in until next season.
So the NBA, real quick, the NBA made it to where a player a year before their actual contract ends, you can re-sign them.
You can sign an extension anytime.
No, you can only sign it a year before your contract's up. I like
which
that.
Which he did last season.
Yeah. I would have did it too after they just see him in the playoffs. I would have got any money they would have offered me. Offer me anything. Because you ain't getting that. So let me finish my argument, right? Mm-hmm.
So that's the first thing. This whole contract year nonsense is just out of order. The second thing, if the Knicks the reason why the Knicks signed him early, and they said that Julius Randle took a pay cut, is because once he hit unrestricted free agency, other teams would have offered him more money, right? And the Knicks didn't have enough cap space to sign him as an unrestricted free agent. By signing him when he was on the team, you're allowed to go over the cap to sign him. You're allowed to do that. So that's why it makes sense for the Knicks to go ahead after the season that he had at the time and go ahead and make that move, okay? Another thing, as an organization that has lacked players, I guess lacked a go-to type of guy or like competent players for years. I'm talking years on end. And then for them to have the type of season that they had last year where they set a foundation, how could you not bring that guy back at the amount of money that he's making? He's really relatively not making that much money relatively to what the other stars and all-stars get in the NBA who are averaging $35 to $36 million per year, right? He's not making that type of money. He's making a tier below that, right? Kind of like lower fringe all-star kind of money. $30 million a year is not that much in today's NBA. It's really not, right? $30 million used to be the biggest contract. I remember Kobe got that, or Kevin Garnett was one of the first players to get that, right? That's when that first hit, and it was like the biggest contracts known to men.
KG,
nowadays, $30 million is not that much, and relative to the rest of the star players in NBA contracts. Okay, so yes, he did take a pay cut, because if the Knicks would have waited, let's say the Knicks would have waited, have him play out his final year of his contract, right? That's $21.7 million coming off the books. Let's say he has a decent year. He doesn't have the type of year he had last season, but it's much more decent. It's kind of like what he's doing now, kind of the same numbers, everything like that. The Knicks wouldn't have had the money to pay him because only $21.7 million come off the books this season. He already had made the All-Star team, so
we got his
he would have
bird
commanded.
rights, bro. We got his bird rights. We got
He
his bird rights.
He would have been unrestricted at the end of the season.
We still could have re-signed him and used the bird rights. You had bird rights after 3 years, bro. We still could have re-signed him.
No, listen to what I'm saying. Only $21.7 million is coming off the books, right? Only 21.7. Julius Randle would have commanded at least 25 to 30 per season in the offseason. That's more money than what we have him slated to pay him right now. Way more money. The Knicks don't have that amount of cap space. They would have to find a way to shed cap in order to get Julius Randle here. Right now, the Knicks are over the cap by like $5 million, $7 million. So there's no way they would have been able to pay Julius Randle upwards to $30 million per season, right? And by all y'all all agree that he doesn't deserve $30 million per season, right? So why would the Knicks not take advantage of that opportunity, especially after the year he had last year, right? And he's on a team-friendly contract, very team-friendly. $26 to $32 million for 4 years. That's not that much in NBA circles. That's really not.
So, Josh, I remember Jerome James. I remember Knicks signing.
Julius Randle's not Jerome James.
No, he's not Jerome James. I know that. But you get the gist. The Knicks sign dudes when they have great playoff series. And then what happens? Those dudes falter. I'm a guy, I've been watching basketball for 21 years, Josh. When it's money time, Josh, you know what money time is. That's playoff time. When it's money time, your stars star. What I seen from 30 in last year playoffs, that was the worst playoff series I've ever seen from an all NBA. That playoff series was so horrible. It kind of reminded me of Braun going against the Mavericks in 2011. He played so damn bad. He wasn't shooting open threes. I'm looking at it and I'm like, what is wrong with this guy? And then on top of the fact that you paid him after that, you're going to this season and he's regressed.
Hold on.
Hold on. And then what makes it even worse? Hold on. What makes it even worse? I'm listening to you and you like, we wouldn't have the cap space. Why the hell the Knicks would sign Evan Fournier, Burks, and Nerlens if they did not make the almighty 4th seed? They would have let those bums walk, which I wanted them to do.
Why?
You let Burks and Nerlens walk. What do you need them for?
No. I'm talking about the money. I'm talking about the money. Why would they let them walk? Knicks had to. They had $60 million in cap space, so they had to sign some players. They had to. So why would you let those guys walk and you're not even at your salary floor?
Can you get me a Patrick Beverly? Can you get me a PJ Tucker? Can you get me guys who do the dirty work?
We're talking about free agency. Patrick Beverly was already under contract.
But you could have traded for Patrick Beverly. You got to.
They didn't have any players. They didn't have that many players on the contract.
Figure it out, man.
Listen, hold on.
This
Wait.
I'm not a GM though. You see how we argue? This why I'm not a GM.
But I'm going to talk about Profound Clark. He said, "Hold up, somebody please slow Josh down. He doesn't understand NBA salaries at all. I do understand salaries, and I know what bird rights are. Yes, we could have signed Julius Randle, but what I'm saying is he would have been unrestricted." Right? He would have been unrestricted. So what that means is, we could have went over the cap to sign him. However, he would have asked for more money because he was unrestricted, and we wouldn't have any leverage at that point. There would have been so many other teams willing to pay Julius Randle more money because he's unrestricted. That's what I'm saying. So by signing him early, we pay him less money over time. We pay him less money per season. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I just feel like you could have just waited and you could have went over the cap and you could have re-signed Randle for all of that. I felt like you could have waited. You shouldn't have.
But we would have paid him more money, though. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's true. But I'd rather pay him more money and knowing that I'm going to get winning production than pay him now and knowing I'm going to get this absolute trash because he's playing trash. And it's no knock on Randle. It's all about expectations, Josh. You don't make the almighty 4th seed, Josh, and you tell me you giving me Larry Bird numbers, and you come this season and you look like absolute garbage after you got paid. So the contract year bug is true. It's true. And
so if you believe that, that, then what makes you think if the Knicks would have waited, the same thing wouldn't have happened next season?
You think he would have hustled? You think he would be hustling without having a new contract this season?
No, but I'm saying I'm going by based on what you said. You said that instead of signing him last offseason, right? That there was a regression was going to happen the following season because it's obviously not his contract year anymore, right? So based on that logic, if we would have waited and his numbers would be just like last season, right? And we sign him to more money, what makes you think if that's the type of what's happening with Julius Randle, he's not giving it his all because he got paid? What makes you think that's not happening to next season if we would have waited?
I think he would have gave us more effort. I think that's just human nature, bro. It's just human. Yo, bro, we've been watching ball for a long time. You know what the contract bug is. You've seen Hassan Whiteside after he got his contract.
What I'm trying to say is what makes a difference between what he's doing now and if we would have waited and paid him this offseason and what would have happened next season if we would have waited.
I feel like we would have got better effort. But the one thing about the whole contract thing, low-key, is I think the Knicks wanted to avoid the whole storm. So let me say what I mean by that. So when I mean storm is players can now be offered a new contract a year prior to their contract being up. So imagine us going into this season and we did not re-sign Randle. The story me and you would be talking about right now wouldn't be how can Randle get better or how can he turn it around. The story with me and you would be, are we ready to deal him and not re-sign him because he's not giving us good production right now? So I think the Knicks wanted to save themselves from being a headliner, just like other teams. For example, when they don't play their young player early. All right. And
I'm gonna crush that narrative. I'm gonna knock that narrative right out the park. You ready for this? Mm-hmm. Let's say we don't sign Julius Randle, right? Mm-hmm. He comes into this season, he's making $21.7 million or whatever it is. So that's $21.7 million potentially coming off the books, right? With the way Julius Randle's playing right now, who are we trading Julius Randle for, right? And why would we trade a player who has $21 million coming off the books this season going into the offseason?
You talking about after the almighty 4th seed? Or you talking about
Julius? So hypothetically, let's say we didn't pay Julius Randle, we didn't give him the extension, and to be honest, the extension doesn't kick in until next year. But let's say we didn't offer him the extension. Mm-hmm. This is the final year of his contract. The way he's playing right now, who are we trading Julius Randle for, right? And why would we even want to trade a $21 million expiring contract in the final year of his deal, in the last year? Why would we do something?
I couldn't even give you the answer to that question if I wanted to, because
the biggest point that I want to make, and this comment hits it on the nose for me. When he's unrestricted, we lose all the leverage.
So let me ask you a question: who's paying Randle $25+ million?
There's a lot of teams that will play Julius Randle as a third option.
Name them.
A lot of teams will pay. Julius Randle is making third option money. There's a lot of teams in the NBA that will pay him. Almost every team. Almost every contending team out there will pay Julius Randle to be a third option right now.
Josh.
To be a third option.
Josh.
At $25 million.
It's only 2 teams in the NBA right now at the starting power forward position that could use Randle. It's only 2 NBA teams right now. And both of those teams don't have cap space, Josh. So stop cutting. You talk about Knicks would lose leverage. I understand what y'all saying. Y'all not wrong. But who's paying Randle? Who's giving him that money? Who was giving Nerlens hospital bed that money? Who's giving Evan Fournier?
We're talking about Nerlens. We're talking about Julius.
So who's giving Julius that money? I asked you a question.
I just told you. Any team that needs a viable third option to help them win the championship would sign him.
No, the chat want to hear you be specific. They be specific, brother.
I don't know every team's cap situation. I don't. But what I'm telling you is there's a bunch of teams that would take Julius Randle to be their third option. Absolutely 100%. Absolutely 100%.
Josh, the two teams right now. No, Sacramento, Orlando, the Spurs. It's only three teams right now that can use Randle.
He wouldn't.
And with
he wouldn't be third options on those teams. though. He would be second option, if anything.
Brother, New York Randle wouldn't be New York Randle on the Spurs, brother. See, different philosophies, brother. He wouldn't be holding the damn ball on the pop of it. He'll hold. I dare you say he'll hold the ball.
No. But that goes against what you've been talking about because you make it seem like it's all Randle's fault and not the coaching philosophy.
I didn't even want to trash. I didn't want to ruin the show by trashing Tibbs. Because I could trash Tibbs for about 3 hours straight. If you want me to, I could just trash him. We don't even need to talk about the players. We could trash him all we want. But I didn't want to do that. You know, I didn't want.
Building Root says, so why are you making that point if you don't know teams' cap space? It's not about me not knowing teams' cap space. It's the fact that everyone, particularly Knicks fans, because Julius Randle's not having his best season, thinks he's not valuable somewhere else. Julius Randle's definitely valuable around this league, and a lot of teams, particularly at his contract, would pay him that if they have the cap space available, right? And if not that, then a team would make that trade for Julius Randle. I just don't think it would be smart for the Knicks to trade him in the final year of his contract because that's $21 million coming off the books. But there are a lot of teams that would take Julius Randle right now. A lot of teams. So that's why I made that point.
I just named three teams for you. All three teams need a starting power forward. The Sacramento Kings, the Spurs, and the Orlando Magic. Now, all three teams that I just named, each team has two young players that can start on the Knicks right now. Like literally right now. So I just want to remind the people in the chat, and you, Josh, Paul George was traded for Victor Oladipo and Sabonis.
Mm-hmm.
Both said players down the road became all-stars. So I hope the Knicks are looking. And I hope Randle gets his mind back together. He needs to get his focus back. Because since he's gotten paid, he's been trash. I hate 21 Randle more than I hate 2019 Randle. Because 2021 Randle got paid. 2019 Randle was trying to figure it out. So he had a good excuse. David Fizdale. So, you know, we'll see. We're going to see. These next four games are going to be interesting, man. Josh, you know if RJ scores 30 or if Obi scores 30, you know I'm going to make a video. You know I'm going to tag you in the
Yeah, no doubt. I'd appreciate it. And like I said, this is all going to be speculation until we actually play these games. I'm assuming these next 3 or 4 games, Julius Randle's going to be out. So let's look forward to it, man. But State, I really appreciate you coming on with me. Let the people know where they can find you. Like I said, I got some of the links in the description right here, but let the people out there know where they can find you.
Y'all know where y'all can find me: Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Pod, everywhere, man. State of the New York Knicks. Y'all can find me on Instagram at State NYK. You can find me on Twitter, State of the New York Knicks. Josh, man, I love talking to you today. I want everybody to be safe. This is the last pod I'm doing in 2021. We're going into 2022 tonight. This was a great show, Josh, because I'm glad we had this convo because we needed people to hear the RJ Randle thing. They need to hear it to hear how ridiculous it sounds sometimes because I get tired of hearing it. So, everybody, man, Happy New Year's, man. Everybody be safe. Wear your mask, please, man. God bless you all. Josh, God bless you, brother. I appreciate the work that you do. Keep doing your thing. Go Knicks, man. And Sim, I appreciate you, Sim, for putting me on this platform. Sim, I love you, OG.
Oh, no, this is all me. This is all me.
This is you. My fault.
Yeah,
Josh, I love you, man. I appreciate you, man.
Sim ain't got nothing to do with this. That's my dog.
Oh, all right. All right. Much love to you.
I make the questions. This is all me. You know what I'm saying? I don't ask producers for nothing. You know what I mean? I own my masters.
I know you said 45 minutes, man, Josh, but no pod is ever 45 minutes when I'm on, man. I'm sorry, man. It's an hour 20.
But
let's get out of here, man. Josh, I want you to enjoy your day. Chat, I want y'all to enjoy your day. I'm out of here. It's your boy State. Shout outs to my guy Eru and my guy Apollo, man. Get better. I'm out of here. Peace.
No doubt, no doubt. Hey, that's Stated in New York Knicks podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, we broke it down in detail. We debated, discussing Julius Randle and him being out and how the Knicks are going to perform. Obviously, the Knicks are playing tonight in Oklahoma City. So it's going to be fun, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Put your comments below. If you think I'm talking crazy, make sure you put it down there. If you think I misspoke about anything, put it down there. If you think I won, put it down there. But I want to hear from you guys. I'm going to be checking this out. Happy New Year to everyone. Have a happy and safe New Year. And let's bring in 2022 with a bang. Go Knicks. And I'm gone, ladies and gentlemen. This is your boy Josh, a.k.a. UnclefOOlio. And I'm out. Peace.